Hi, my name is Dr. Faria Bukhari. I'm a physician, a philanthropist, a human rights activist, and I'm doing this video in regards to the ongoing situation in Gaza. I saw King Abdullah go to Donald Trump and discuss the matter in the most diplomatic way there was possible. And the response that Trump gave, it really seemed like that Trump was not seemingly the president of one of the biggest democracies of the world. It really sounded like he was representing the most communist country of the world. He said that Gaza is going to be taken by him, by his country, and everybody will have to be displaced. And when someone asked why would that be, under what authority, because Gaza has its own sovereignty and its own recognized independence, he said by the US authority. So what is this US authority? Is US becoming China now? I'm seeing, on the other hand, President Xi Jinping express his concerns over how the US and the NATO and Israel have been behaving with the people of Gaza all this time. So President Xi Jinping, he's from a communist country. There's communism in China, and there's no democracy there. It's not a democratic country. And I've yet to see him utter that under China's authority, this is what I dictate to everybody in the world, that this is how it's going to be. You can see the stark difference. You can see who's the real, actual dictator here. You can see which country has the tyranny and which country does not. Doesn't China have any diplomatic relationship with Israel? Of course they have. Aren't they concerned that if they impair their relationship with Israel, they could lose money or profit? Of course. But they are still concerned on the basis of human rights. China, the most misjudged country of the world, being called the biggest human rights violator, is now today concerned more about the human rights of the people of Gaza. What are they going to get out of it? Nothing. What is China going to get out of expressing their sympathy and concern for the genocide that has been imposed upon the people of Gaza, upon the Palestinians by the Israelis? The last time I checked, China had diplomatic relationship with Israel and had trade and everything else. So I don't understand, where is United States going when its president openly, publicly tries to intimidate King Abdullah, tries to bully him, and say in front of the entire world publicly that it will be done by US authority. Who gave the US this authority? Do the American people want the people of Gaza to leave their homeland, their homes? Do the American people believe in what their dictator president is telling the whole world, that yes, US has the authority to invade Gaza, to occupy Gaza, to displace its entire civilization, and not let them come back, and then create a Riviera of the Middle East through which it is going to extract all the profit and also drill the offshore gas reserves worth $500 billion. This is Dick Cheney part 2 or part 3. I've lost the count, because there have been so many American presidents repeating the same thing again and again, not learning from the mistakes. I made a video last night about this, and I hope you can see it. It's on Twitter and YouTube. It's on X and YouTube. That US presidents have been the puppets of the military-industrial complex all this time. They invaded Vietnam, and we saw what happened. It was a nightmare. And we're talking about Vietnam War lingering over a period of multiple presidents. Then they invaded Afghanistan. We saw what happened. 2 decades of occupation of Afghanistan, leading to a nightmare. And you saw how the US Army had to leave in a rush, how bad the exodus of United States was from Afghanistan. Even today, the key assets of US Army, of the US government, are sitting in Pakistan, waiting to be accepted by the United States government, waiting to be given a refuge in the country that promised them that if they cooperated and spied for that country, they will be taken care of. But they're sitting in literally under equipped camps in Pakistan, waiting for eventually to be accepted by the US government. This is how the United States treats the people who are loyal to it, abandons them. And I can say that because I work as a physician in US, and I've seen how United States treats its veterans. Terrible. Terrible. So sad. It is so tragic how the United States government treats its own veterans. I take care of veterans in US, and I see how terrible their status is. Their healthcare needs, their social needs, their mental health needs are not taken care of. This is, literally, and then I tell myself that this country, United States, has no regard for its own heroes who have served this country and given up their health, their lives, their livelihoods, given up everything. And the government refuses to take care of them. So how can you expect this evil US government and the evil US Congress to think about the human rights of the people of Palestine or any other conflicts of the world? US has been committing genocide after genocide. Afghanistan happened, US did not learn anything. Iraq happened, 1 million Iraqis killed by George Bush. US did not learn anything. It was a nightmare for the entire US Army to be able to survive in Iraq. Libya happened, Benghazi happened, nobody learned anything. Yemen happened, we are seeing the Houthis sink US ships. Nobody's learning anything. Syria happened, nobody learned anything. We are seeing one territory invaded, occupied, plundered by US after another. And now we have the dictator of the biggest democracy of the world standing on the podium of the US president's seal, dictating to the world that it is the US authority to invade, occupy, plunder, displace the people of Gaza. All this time, we have China, which is a communist country, which is not even a democracy, express sympathy and support for the people of Gaza out of sheer concern for the human rights violations and ongoing genocide. See the stark difference. We have a communist nation supporting the people of Gaza, the Palestinians' right to exist, to live, to be able to have independence. And then we have the dictator of the biggest democracy of the world claiming that he has the US authority as the president to invade Gaza, to occupy Gaza, and to displace the Palestinians, 2 million Palestinians, and to build a Riviera for his own profit. This is the difference. We have on one side a communist country and its president supporting the human rights of Palestinians and advocating to end the genocide imposed upon them. And then we have the president of the biggest democracy of the world advocating continuation of the genocide, warning the people of Gaza to leave. Otherwise, the bombs that they have supplied to Israel are going to start pouring on Gaza again and again and again. Do I need to still repeat this, that US is no more a democracy? It is a communist country. It was under Biden too, and all the previous presidents. Because why do I say that? Because the United States Constitution forbids the president from condoning to a genocide, from arming it, from facilitating it. And yet we see continuation of the genocide of Palestinians under the US banner. So obviously these presidents and the US Congress is not abiding by the US law. They have their own constitution, they have their own tyranny, they have their own authoritative order that they're following that is in conflict with the United States Constitution. I'm not even talking about international constitution. I'm talking about the American Constitution, American law that forbids the US government to invest into a genocide, to arm a genocide, to facilitate a genocide. And we see the dictator of United States condone to ongoing genocide of the people of Gaza, of Palestinians, by Israel. He has given billions of dollars worth of arms, one of the biggest, most lethal weapon of mass destruction to be thrown on these people who are unarmed, their women, their children. We have about 60,000 civilians butchered by the previous government of US. And now we have this dictator saying that he can do whatever he wants to, and nobody has the right to ask any questions, and Gaza is his. He's going to take it. While we have President Xi Jinping from a communist country supporting the human rights of the people of Gaza in contrast. So who's the good guy here? Who's more democratic? Who cares more about the human rights in the world? I mean, seriously, you can't see the difference? China is way better compared to US in terms of its moral ethics, in terms of its human rights concerns and observation, in terms of its practices, in spite of the fact that it's a communist country. And we have a democratic country like US that is absolutely right now, I think you should be ashamed of yourself if you are living in the United States, because this country has gone at its lowest possible pit ever. And I don't know how much lower it can go, because I think after this it's going to be just the end of the empire, because this is the lowest you can be as it is right now. Bye-bye. Think about it, what I said. China is going to rise bigger and higher because it is doing what should be done. It is on the right side of the history, and United States is on the bad, worst side of the history, supporting, imposing, arming, funding a Holocaust. So what do you expect? What do you expect? Tell me. It's a common sense question. I don't need to even educate you on this. You should know this yourself. Bye-bye.